it always annoys me when she talks about how she's like campaigning for behavior online when her fan base is some of the nastiest and the
Mhm.
cruelest. It's like, get your people in check first. Um, but the idea that, when she looks at the audience and she's like, boomerang was a thing. What is she trying to, what is she obviously thinks that's a cute moment. Uh, Social media is beneath her. What is she trying to tell us there? That was weird to me.
Remember when she said, I don't know? She's
Mm.
whispering. She's not going to go to TikTok, I don't think, because she'd really get slammed there. And she's afraid people aren't going to, I think they would follow her on TikTok, but I don't think it would be as big as she thinks it's going to be. I could
Mm-hmm.
be completely wrong about that.
Morbid curiosity.
Yeah. But I don't think she's going to be on TikTok. She'll do Instagram. That's easy. A lot of people are there as well. So I don't see a problem with that. I don't think she sees a problem with that either, except if she has to keep the comments turned off. Have you been on her thing?
Yeah, she does. She goes into that. Let's just watch her say that because that's interesting. This is to me her avoiding answering the question about how she navigates negative feedback. It's a pretty legitimate question.
Mhm.
How do you navigate or how do you decipher what is legitimate feedback that can be used to benefit your business? The cookies should come in a bigger box, smaller box, whatever, versus just naysayers. And Meghan tries to convince us that she has a lot of fans. Like she's like, but no, there's a lot of people that do like me. And then um she also says, and I turn the comments off for my fans to protect my fans from negativity. Wait, really quickly, I just remembered one other thing. When she says I have a weird history or relationship with social media off the top, is she looking for sympathy there?
No, she's telling us, she's saying everybody knows that not a lot of people like me and I get slammed on there a lot. Because look, I mean, every video I've done about them just been horrible, you know. So she knows people don't like them or like her.
Then why
And
does she keep showing up?
because that's who she's. It's like, why do you have the Joker in Batman? He's a bad guy. Well, you got to have that personality type, that character, and that's where she can make money. She's
Mm.
the bad guy. That's how you make money doing that. Who would be the good guy in that situation, in that scenario? Who's on TikTok everybody likes or Instagram everybody likes?
Well, I think if Megan's the bad guy, I think the good guys are the British royal family, right?
There you go. So
Yes.
we have one against the other. You can't have Coke without Pepsi. You can't have Advil without Tylenol. You have to have those things button up against each other. The royal family's going to do fine. She's not. But as long as she's against them and keeps throwing these things in, man, she's that's what keeps her afloat. Her Megan boat afloat
So
is that.
like when we talk about like the perpetual state of victimhood that they linger in, this wasn't an example of that for her to be like, well, you guys know I have a weird relationship with
Of
social media.
course it is. Yeah,
Ah,
it is because it
okay.
rings right back up. She's, married to Harry, who she calls her husband again. So you remember that. Keep that in mind. You don't hear his name in here. Used to, that's all she talked about. And every
Mm-hmm.
time we come up, oh, H, oh,
H
Harry.
H.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
All right. Let's
But
go back
not
in because
anymore.
this is where she dodges this question about negative feedback and wants and tells the host that the reason she has her comments turned off is to protect her audience.
Founders always have to look for signals in what's working, what's not working, how do I tinker, how do I pivot? How are you able to decipher out like the constructive from obviously the not constructive that you need to ignore?
Well, there are certain things that I've done just for my own self-preservation, but also that I've applied to the brand and for the people that are incredibly supportive. I know, the question can be around naysayers, but if you really see the groundswell of support that surrounds the brand and me, that's what I feel the most, and that's what I appreciate. But by design, I also recognize that a lot of those people aren't going to my page to see negativity. And so, not just protecting myself or the people that work with me, but also the supporters. So I don't have the comments section on. That's a choice. And yet, part of that challenge that I was trying to solve for was then how do I create community? That is so key to this brand, and it's so key to how I like to show up in the world. How do we actually connect if you can't have a comments and exchange.
She nailed it there. It's about community, and she doesn't have one. There is a community, but that community is built because they don't like her. That's the community that's there. She doesn't have the comments turned on because she doesn't want to see that. The narcissism doesn't want anybody to hear it. She don't want to hear anything bad about her or have anybody saying bad stuff about her. So that whole thing, it's exactly what she's saying it is. It is about community, but she doesn't have one. There's not one there that's buying all this stuff she's got. I want to see how much she's really bought. I mean, people have really bought from her. I want to see what that is.
I know. I'm
You know,
very curious too. It's interesting too, because she immediately pivots here and creates a problem so that she can talk, so she can be the hero. When she's talking about this community thing, she immediately goes, and I was having a hard time building a community by turning the comments off. So my social media manager sends me screenshots, and then I write with my calligraphy on top of the image and upload it. And that's the way I communicate with my audience. It's like, it was interesting to me because she doesn't answer the question, but she wants to look good. So she creates a problem within the scenario so that she can say, oh, by the way, I also found the solution. Did you like it? What is she doing there? Just trying to, she doesn't want to give the haters any feedback. She doesn't want to feed any sort of the people like you or I that could really dwell on whatever her answer is here.
well, that's called chaff and redirect. Greg Hartley came up with that. And what is like you see those when you attack a plane, let's say you're from two countries are fighting and you have a bomber flying along, and these little, I mean, not necessarily just say another fighter, and they're following each other fairly far apart. Well, this plane here is going to shoot a rocket at that plane. It's a heat-seeking missile, right? So what this plane does is it throws out what's called chaff. These things are on fire, sparkling, all kinds of things. And when it does that, it makes a big cloud of those, then it ducks over this way. So that missile won't follow the plane. It'll follow something in that chaff and those big hunks of metal and aluminum burning up. So that's what you have chaff. So you chaff and then you redirect. You go the other way. You go another way. So that's what she's doing with that question because she doesn't like the comments. That's why she's turned them off. But she's built it in this big, huge answer dealing with her company and her family and all everything little that you and I see as, well, of course she's got her comments turned off. She can blow that thing up into her favor, to advantage for her, because she gets to bring up these things that make her the enemy. You have the royal family and you have the enemy. You can't have Coke without Pepsi or Advil without Tylenol. So you have to have that rub in there happening. If she doesn't have that, she's got nothing. You think anybody would give
do you really
hoot?
think she's aware of that? You really think that she realizes, because she does say, I wish I could remember the specific quote in the Oprah Winfrey interview, but in the Oprah Winfrey interview, she says something along the lines of like, there doesn't have to be a bad guy. Like she's angry that people are taking sides, but for what you're saying is there does, if this narrative is going to continue to work and if she's going to continue to stay relevant.
That's who she is. That's the character she is in this, in the scenario. And everybody that you see on YouTube or Instagram, anything like that, it's a character. And you're seeing you say all these things about this person. You say, well, Scott Rouse, what's he doing? Well, he's got a bad haircut and a big nose, and he thinks he knows everything, and he talks about body language. And that's what you would say. He's a body language guy. He does this and that. What about Kinsey? What about, well, she's really cute and pretty and sweet. And then she talks about the royal family. We can't hate her because she's so nice about it, and you talk about other people. Everybody has a thing, everybody can be characterized by something, this is who that person is. And that's who she is. She's the enemy of the state,
Yeah.
the royal family.